Welcome back, I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 52 of Producing for a Year. I've been listening to our Psytrance finale track in different contexts recently as the track is starting to get more complete in the car and on my phone and on my sound system out in my living room. And one thing I've noticed pretty consistently, and I really should have been able to see this from the EQ, is that the sub is just too high. The sub bass that I've got going underneath our Psytrance bass. It sounds good in my studio monitor earphones, but it doesn't seem to sound very good in any actual real world context. So I pull that down here to start today. I don't know how much you guys can tell the difference there. If you hear that difference, let me know. And then we start listening through what else can we add to the track. We are kind of getting to a place where this track is almost musically done, and it's time to just start with mixing and adding little bells and whistles. But as I listened through this section that follows the first time we really hear the melody post-drop was kind of empty, and I'd not really known what to put in there, but I did like it as kind of a breakup in tempo and pacing of the piece. And one thing we've already done one time in this piece is reference other parts of the EP. I like this idea as it kind of implies that this is like a video game soundtrack where there's themes running through the whole thing. They're nice Easter eggs for listeners who are listening closely. And there's one piece of music that you guys haven't heard at all. It's a piece that was completely finished before I started this challenge, but it's got some really good melodies in it, and they're also in minor, so it works really well already in this piece, and I decided to put one in this spot. That reference will be more of a reference to you once you've actually heard the full track that it comes from. But this got me thinking, okay, so we are referencing other melodies we've written throughout this piece, and right now, we're trying to add a last final section to this song, and the idea is that you beat the boss in the big climax of this piece, and then you hear victory music afterwards. And last session, I started writing out basically a new idea for what this victory song could be, and it hit me, what if I just took the idea from the first track we did at the very beginning of the challenge that was very happy and jubilant and is supposed to be the very first track on the EP. What if we took that idea and put it in kind of a new arrangement here at the end and had that be our victory music? So the first sound you hear at the beginning of the video game is also the sound you hear when you beat the final boss. I like the idea, so I set about making that. There was a few different layers to this. The first thing was I put some arpeggios in for maximum chiptune vibes. Two different patterns, one in the left, one in the right, panned subtly to give them a little bit of space. And then it was time for strings. This was a really good spot for strings to fit in. They are functioning a little bit more as a pad here than as like an actual orchestra, but it worked well. Then for the melody, our friend the recorder that we discovered for a different little kind of like a side piece on some previous videos comes back into play. I did a lot of MIDI tinkering, perfecting, fidgeting here. It starts with like one recorder singing, and then there's a second one that comes in to layer with it. And it was fun, but there was a lot of like, gotta try and make sure this sounds as realistic as possible while still being a MIDI instrument. Eventually, though, we ended up with this. Of all the ideas I've had so far about where this piece is going to finally end up, this is the one I'm liking the most so far, and I'm happy about it that we got this one down. It was a lot of fun MIDI to write down. So an hour flies by, and we've made meaningful progress on the track. I'll see you guys tomorrow.